No, I took it just before we started.
Hi, this is one of the High Priests of Khonshu Ray from Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast. We're proud members of the collective, and you're listening to fellow collectives, the Capes and Lunatics podcast. Enjoy.
There's a thin line between heroism and madness.
Here the line fades to nothing at all.
This is a world of capes and lunatics.
And nothing is off limits.
Tonight, I'm fully into the Mandela effect. Charlie Esser, with his naked face and his upcoming autobiography, If I Was Tom Selleck. Lilith Hellfire rocking the Marvel shirt, and the world has lost all meaning. So, I don't know what the point is, but Capes and Lunatics starts right now. Hello, everyone. You all should write in and watch us on YouTube and bring meaning to my existence, at least this part of my existence. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, is that jobless vagabond, that lovable jobless vagabond who we call
Charlie, the Professor Esser, just like all homeless men. I'm a professor of something.
You have a home, you just have no job.
Give it a minute.
And that world traveler who she has to give up the alcohol and goes right for the NyQuil.
Hey, y'all, it's Lilith reporting from the 6, aka Toronto.
The 6? Oh,
Yeah.
Toronto? You weren't there last night. Jeez.
You
I
moved
told you I had to be here for a week and a half.
I know, but
Oh.
you're in another city, now you're over there. Jeez.
So welcome to civilization away from the wilds of British Columbia.
I actually hate Toronto, but don't let anybody hear me say that. It's my least favorite Canadian city.
Really?
It really is. I mean, I prefer a lot.
But it's like a tiny version of New York.
That's why I hate it. I hate it when I lived in New York, so I really don't like Toronto.
At Lilith Hellfire.
Oh, so okay.
Fight me, nerds.
You're
You know,
in the
New
city.
York would be great without New Yorkers, just like Paris is great without Parisians. I'm just saying.
No, it strikes me. You are like this classic conundrum. A wilderness person whose livelihood relies on electronic technology. Because you're not the only one of my friends who's like this. J.B. Wells is like this, fantastic author of great books of teen adventure. Look her up. But, yeah, it's that same mentality that, you know, I want to be a survivalist, but dang, it costs a lot of money to be a survivalist. I guess I have to go live in the real world.
Actually, the setup costs a lot of money. Everything, the maintenance is actually pretty cheap.
Well, yeah, but, you know, setup.
She's researched.
And, you know, not for nothing, Lilith, that's how they get you. Because that setup is only good for, what, 5, 10 years? And then, oh, no, this is the new model of connectivity that we have. We're now using quantum superposition C USB connectors.
You know, I've been visiting the Amish.
Oh, Pennsylvania, come on down.
The Amish have it right, man. Just butter and barns. And, you know, dying at a ripe old age of, 59, 62.
I know a lot of old. Well, I did when I visited Michigan. I knew a lot of old Amish people. They were like,
there probably are a lot of old Amish people because eventually they actually do let you retire, and then it's just like being Amish, but you don't have to lift the barns anymore. It's like, dude, you can't kill me, and I ain't died yet.
Oh, so. Actually, no, Mennonites. They weren't Amish. They were Mennonites.
Oh,
close, but not the same.
I was going to say,
yeah, Mennonite choose modern healthcare, man.
Charlie, they prefer you to grow the facial hair too.
Well, that's their style. You know what? Personally, any religion that's that obsessed with fashion is a little problematic for me. Not because I oppose their choice to make fashion be a religious observance, but that I cannot intellectually internalize the idea that God cares about your underwear.
Oh, tell that to the Mormons.
I was going to say.
No, that's the most modern example. Is And not for nothing, maybe I'm the idiot, and God is like, no, man, I really care about your clothing.
As South Park says all the time, the Mormons had it right.
That's all right, man. God wants you to wear his magic underwear. Well, there's actually a philosophical idea behind this, which is that when you take a mundane task and make it a religious observance, taking that mundane task equates to your own spirituality. So there are those very Hasidic Jews who will say the candlelighting blessing every time they turn on a light switch, because light is a gift from God, and so in order to do it, you must say that phrase each time you do it. There are Catholics who will have a Mother of God, Mother Mary, light shape cover. That's does the same thing. But the idea is that if you take a mundane task and make it religious, it suddenly becomes all the more important, and your relationship with God becomes all the more important, and it does guide you forward. So, although I myself cannot intellectually wrap my head around the idea of religious garments, religious vestments, I actually understand the philosophical underpinnings of the idea. But like all magic, because I've peered behind the curtain, it makes it harder to accept blindly.
I was obsessed with the Amish when I was younger because of that movie with Tim Allen and Kirstie Alley where they go into witness protection. I can't think of the name of that movie.
That you didn't say the witness there, because
I actually don't hate me. I actually don't like Harrison Ford, so.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, I understand. His charismatic charm is hard for a lot of people.
Tim Allen was I'm a '90s kid. Tim Allen was all the rage. Home Improvement, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, all the way, all day. Okay.
Yeah, no, I understand, Lilith. I'm a child of like the '70s, so but it's just one of those moments where we get that. Where someone says, I was really into the Amish because of that movie, and then of course my mind goes, of course she's going to say The Witness, and then it's like, nope. Not even Children of the Corn, but
oh God! As a horror fan, I hate that franchise. Actually,
it was a short story. It was never meant to be a franchise.
Is this what you were talking about, Phil? How we talk about stuff that's not comic
I told you it always degenerates into some topic that's just out in left field.
Yeah, well, I don't even know how we got here. Something about vestments.
Oh, but
okay. Moving right along. Does everyone have any comic book news to talk? Or
yes. I did see something 20 minutes before we started. I guess now they're saying that DC digital service now looks like they're shooting for late August.
I told you that's when the Titans were launching.
Oh, did you
listen to me? Yeah.
Oh, but did you see? I guess they're saying not only are they gonna have like the new TV shows, then they'll have the old stuff like we were talking about, but I guess they're gonna have digital comics on there too.
Yeah, I saw that. I told you it was gonna be like the all-encompassing go-to place for DC stuff. I don't think that's gonna work out for them the way they think it is.
So,
it'll be an interesting experiment to see how they turn. They're gonna have to turn into the skid with that one.
Has there been like any talk of like what pricing and stuff?
Hopefully cheaper.
Whoa, yeah.
I mean, you're only getting one group, so it has to be less than Netflix. Basically, the rule is if you're less than Netflix, you can sell it. And if you're more than Netflix, no one cares.
And DC needs the help.
We'll see about that Disney service with all those damn Disney devotees.
Yeah, but with Disney, you're getting all the Marvel. You're probably going to get Star Wars. You're probably going to get all the cartoons
But
probably, but maybe not.
And not for nothing, how many people who are Disney fans are Disney fans or fans of the memes about Disney? This is one of these things that I've noticed a lot in recent years, that it's like I know a lot about a lot of franchises that I have no real interest in. I actually know a lot about the Harry Potter universe. I have never read a Harry Potter book. I've never watched a Harry Potter movie. Yet somehow I know a lot about Harry Potter. And when I see memes about Harry Potter, I chuckle chortily.
I have a very distinct fandom within the Disney fandom, and that is the Renaissance era of Disney. So.
Well, exactly. But this is the thing. I mean, you have your childhood Disney. I have my childhood Disney. We were actually talking about this a few weeks ago on Super Connectivity about the people for whom their Disney is stuff like Atlantis and Treasure Planet and, you know,
the Lost Years, we like to refer to.
Yeah, you know, like, there's this whole group of people, or Road del Dorado, which isn't Disney, I know, but, you know,
I was going to say, good movie, but not Disney.
Yeah, but it's not Disney. I know that, and I prefaced that in my original statement, and I'm sufficing it at this point.
Well, that's why I'm thinking the Disney thing is going to have, you know, a bunch of properties because, you know, for people who aren't interested in the Marvel stuff, you know, some might be interested in the classic Disney stuff, especially if you have kids.
DuckTales, old DuckTales, Rescue Rangers,
see,
and Gummy Bears and Gargoyles. You don't do Gargoyles, don't even bother.
But are you going to pay the $8.50 a month for it? Are you going to pay the $8.50 a month
for
the new
Gargoyles? That stuff on DVD,
they're going to do the reboot. They're going to do the reboot of Gargoyles. That's how they get you.
Boo!
They already have a reboot of DuckTales. I wonder if
Boo!
Yeah, but they're going to do something. They're going to try and get the Liliths of the world. These
good luck.
Billionaire
I am addicted to physical media now, so good luck.
Yeah, well, you know, but they're going to try they're going to try and get you into it. And I guess what my point is that that's Disney's biggest problem, is that they have this gigantic fan base, but it is so diffuse. Saying, come to our one spot is difficult. The only way it really works, here's how the Disney service works. They've got to make it a premium service, like going to Disneyland or Disney World. I've never been to Disneyland, never been to Disney World. Do you know how much that place costs? It's nuts.
It's not that much if you're a Florida resident, actually. But
okay, well,
no, in a California resident.
Okay, so great for the two states that they happen to exist in. Obviously, that is a deal they worked out in the original contracts to get the land. Or you're going on a Wednesday or something, you know. Which I guess works if you're taking that whole week off and you do the Wednesday in and things like that. I get that shtick. But the fact of the matter is that there's so much entailed in going to a Disney World. It is a premium vacation. But I would be willing to do it if I had money to go on a premium vacation. I would be more than happy. I'd do all of them. You know, I'd do Universal Studios where I get to see Marvel characters and wherever the heck Harry Potter is, even though I don't follow that. None of my kids follow that. I was like, my kids know who Voldemort is. I know who Voldemort is. We've both been exposed to the same memes. Let's go to the Harry Potter world. We know as much about this world as any Potterhead because all for memes. And we'd pay that if we had that premium money. I think Disney needs to bill itself as if Disney is going to make it work with that diffuse fan base, they got to basically say, look, we got to assume we've got like 1/10 of the following of Netflix. We have to go in assuming that. Let's price to that. And here's the real trick. Here's the real trick to it. You price to that $20 a month model, 3 months free.
That's too much.
No. Because that's how they get you. Because it's going to get guys that are just rich enough to afford it, but not rich enough to stick. Yeah, to stick around. Basically, you got to get that guy. You got to find that guy who would be me if I had a job. And that's the thing. It's like there's this me that has the job that pays the rate that I've gotten in the past. And he's the guy that would totally pay $20 a month. Sure, what the heck? That's less than a lap dance. Why wouldn't I pay that for all of Disney?
Okay, remind me not to go to strip clubs in Jersey.
What? I don't know. How much are you paying for a lap dance? I don't know.
$2.20 in Florida? Come on.
What is it, 2 for $20? What?
You know what?
Although it is $50 in Vancouver, but you get to drink and see Bush. I mean,
Florida has been ravaged by hurricanes, and I'm sure people are in a very desperate state there right now. Just whenever this airs, it'll still be because it's always ravaged by
Well,
hurricanes.
plus two, let's think about this. I mean, Lilith is a female. I think they show preferential treatment to females.
Well, a female can't get into a New Jersey strip club.
What?
Definitely. No wonder I always
What kind of hellmouth do you live on?
I live in Jersey. I was assumed it was a hellmouth.
You know how much extra treatment you get at a strip club if you take a woman with you?
I know. I'm just like, I'm so offended and appalled.
I'm gonna tell you the funny joke about this whole conversation. Jersey strip clubs aren't even strip clubs. They're go-go clubs.
Oh, you poor thing.
Oh, trust me. I know. Hey, the East Coast is crazy puritanical still.
It is. It's true. New York strip clubs aren't that much better, to be honest. I know that from
They're not, especially after the Giuliani laws. Yeah.
Yeah.
Giuliani.
Philip, we're talking about strippers. Can you get us back on track?
I wanted to talk about Lockjaw. It was a good book.
I know Charlie read comic books. Let's
threw out a topic. You perverts had to take it to the strip club.
Oh, because you threw it out, but you didn't rein it in. You got to be a shepherd.
Make it rain.
You need a rook.
I make it hail. I throw change.
What?
I'm kidding.
What
you say?
In
You
Canada.
make it hail?
No, it's in Canada. You have to throw the loonies at them.
He knows what I'm saying.
I
Make it hail.
Yeah. See, that's why I've always said the stripper lobby was behind the conversion to coin currency in Canada, because now the smallest folding bill you can dip with is a 5. But then I've had dancers tell me that no, that people wrap up a loonie in a napkin and stick it in your.
All I know is right now Charlie doesn't have the disposable income, so he's helping the strippers' kids with their homework for a lap dance.
Yeah, no. I just trust me. I don't even want to get into my whole story about things I do for my friends who are dancers. They don't like to be called strippers, and especially in New Jersey, because they're not strippers; they're go-go dancers.
Feels like that's just a euphemism, but okay.
Actually, not really, because actually, really, when you go to what you have to do in Canada to get $1, and what you have to do in New Jersey to get $1, you're actually way better off in New Jersey, because everyone knows what the rules are in New Jersey. So it's like, okay, yeah, that's enough. That's more than enough, and here's your money. It's actually easier to make money. Not really easier to make money because, of course, it's a smaller pool because you're doing less, but also you have to do less to get more. It's a very complex algebra and game theory of
blah blah blah.
Yes, Philip, can you just shout at some point and say, "Hey, let's talk about"?
I am shouting.
Let's talk about comic books. Come on.
Yeah. But yeah, we were talking about the platform. But did you see where else they're going to be selling DC and Marvel comics? Oh, I told Lilith this yesterday. GameStop.
Yeah.
Certain GameStops are going to be selling. I think I saw today they said it's even going to be on spinner racks like back in the day.
See, that is actually brilliant.
Well, they need help too, because think about it. Video games are still popular, but a lot of people are probably just downloading them now.
Well, not only that, downloaded games mostly on mobile platforms. So if your platform is already mobile and they say, "Hey, would you like this game?" It's like, "Yes, I'd like that game." Well, here's that game, Now, the advantage for GameStop is that they actually make a nice profit off of, what is this all about, Phil?
What?
What does Disney sell? What is Disney's profit?
Our childhood?
No. What do they make money off of? Phil, I say this every week.
Oh, the T-shirts.
The T-shirt sales. It's the sweetest plum. But GameStop does make a lot of money off of those ancillary products, which, not for nothing, the comic book stores are making a lot of money off of the ancillary products as well. And so whereas the comic book stores have started selling the ancillary products to supplement their lagging comic book sales, now GameStop is going to start selling the comic books to help hype their ancillary product sales, because they're going to say, you know what, you're coming here anyway to get your bobblehead. Would you like to see the comic books?
So basically what you're saying is the comic book stores and GameStop are going to be going to war.
Not really.
No?
I mean, like I said, I don't know. When I do go to get a comic book, I go to a comic book store. I don't go to GameStop. Like I order all my games off of Amazon or eBay because it's cheaper. Like I don't remember the last time I bought something from GameStop that wasn't a Funko Pop. Just to be honest,
we're at the mall. Like I'll walk in there, but I don't make like a special trip to go up there. The GameStop.
Well, you know who actually goes to GameStop?
Every game console you can imagine, and I don't remember the last time that I bought.
Well, there's like all these funny comments like online today. It's like, oh yeah, and then if you try to take those comics back to sell them, you know, you could take in like a Action Comics #1, and they'll give you like $2 on it, or like $10 store credit.
GameStop's the worst.
Well, but here's what I'm going to tell you. Do you know who actually goes to GameStop?
I literally never see anybody in the GameStop when I go. Please tell me.
Yes, that's because you have fur babies, not flesh babies. If you had flesh babies, you would know that children go to GameStop. GameStop is the Toys R Us of modern children.
He's right.
With way less square footage needed to run the store. So basically, children will go to GameStop to buy the game and maybe a Funko Pop, or usually not, but maybe some other. Usually they like the little tiny FNAF action figures or the plushes, because kids are real into plushes nowadays. Thank gosh that has finally happened. I was a plush kid who loved plushes when I was a baby.
It's a gateway to being a furry. Nope.
It is not the gateway to being a furry. I have no interest in sexual relations with my plushes, but I love plushes. I loved plush toys as a kid because they were very comforting. They were like, because you have your wire mommy and your plush mommy, and you want to hold on to the plush mommy, but then you have to go to the milk mommy. This is a Reese's monkey experiment. This is some deep dive for those of you who've studied cruel scientific experiments, psychological scientific experiments on monkeys. But yes, those of you who know what I'm saying when I say plush mommy versus wire mommy.
Anyway, so
I don't know. It's going to be an interesting experiment. That's all that I'm going to say. I don't think that it's going to turn out the way anybody thinks it's going to turn out.
I think it's going to turn out okay for GameStop, because basically they're going to get these books in that they're not going to be buying, because they're not going to be paying the comic. They're not going to have the same deal as the comic book.
Oh, they're going to Walmart it.
Yeah, they're basically it's like, if we don't sell them, we're going to send them back to you. And that's the thing. We send them back. You give us the credit back for the next ship. And that's how they're going to be. They're not going to be like, oh, we'll buy them at the discount and then we'll give you this. It's like, no, we'll buy them on credit, and if we sell them, they're basically going to be a consignment store for comic books. I'll wager, because I don't think they'd take this on in any other way. And comic book are kind of side of the comic book, the specialty retailer, because they realize the specialty retailer has kind of, they've lost their footing for whatever reason. Now, I would say that specialty retailers have the stronger base, because specialty retailers do a pull list for you. But one of the biggest complaints of specialty retailers is people have stuff on pull that they then don't buy. And honestly, the economics of comic books is a very difficult thing to work out. And honestly, the only way to make it work out is they got to cut the price of comic books, go back to pulp paper, as we've said hundreds of times.
That's right.
Yeah, we don't support the people that make the pulp comics.
Because I don't want their heroes in that fashion. And I don't know how to get those heroes in that fashion, because they don't sell them at my comic book store. That's the problem. It's like,
order them from Etsy. It's not that hard.
I gotta go to Etsy. I gotta create another online account to give Luscious my name.
That's a problem in and of itself. Don't get me wrong,
yeah,
but
I'm just saying. I'm giving the Russians enough of my information. Can't I just buy a freaking comic book at my store? No, I can't. That's the problem. Because until Marvel or DC or Archie embraces nostalgia artisanal comics, Archie's going to be the first. You watch. Little handlebar mustache Archie on the cover. You watch, it's gonna happen. And little thing with the garter on his arm for some reason. You're not going to get that return to a low-cost production method for comics. You need one major comic book company to bite the bullet and say, you know what, let's try it. Let's try $1.99 comics on low-grade stock and put good, interesting stories with decent art in and see if people buy it. Archie's will do it because Archie's are the number 3. Major comic book company, not an indie. Don't ever let them tell you they're an indie. They got a show on the WB or something. CW.
What is it? 2 days initials.
Don't you change your names on me, networks.
Mergers.
The W came.
Birthday fun.
Anyway, but this is the point: is that until a major comic book company embraces low-cost production methods, you're not going to have that as a thing. Because, yes, I could go to Etsy. I have to go to Etsy. I've got to find the book. I've got to decide if this book, with no characters that I have any connection to, have any interest to me.
They give you like 60 free comics to start. I'm just saying. And
how much do I have to pay for 60 free comics?
Free.
How much do I have to pay?
Free, yeah.
You sign up for the newsletter.
Oh, well, maybe I'll do that then.
We had this conversation months ago.
Well, yeah, but you know what? I don't remember a link showing up on my screen. I don't remember an email saying, hey.
We got to remember, Charlie's the weird uncle sometimes. So we have to baby
I'm saying this. But this is this thing. If you want that, if you want to do that and have this, here's 60 free comics, read our pulp paper comics. After that, it's 99 cents a comic or whatever you're going to charge. And we'll mail them to you each month if you get a subscription for a year. You could do that, but you have to let people know that's a viable option. I can't be hoping that the person on my podcast knows this and that podcast gets listened to by other people if I'm not on that podcast. This is a marketing issue. You have a product and a method of delivery that you think is superior. You gotta hustle it. I'm not the whiner here, Phil. I'm the explainer. I am the mansplainer. This is my superpower. You're doing it wrong, comic book company that I've never heard of, well, that I have heard of several times, but I've forgotten every time I've heard of it.
Alterna Comics is the company that we're talking about. And I actually did order probably I don't know, before I left. So I want to say it was February from Etsy. And I didn't open it yet, though. It was really busy.
Oh!
But I read all the free stuff, and I did order, so.
Well,
well, that's great. And that is fantastic.
I still have to read the stuff from when I signed up for the newsletter. So let's get Charlie on board, and then maybe sometime this summer we'll.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so open for.
Yeah, someone from Alterna said they would talk to us. Yeah.
Someone with a link, send me a link. I will order it. I will read all 60 free comic books.
I think 60 was an exaggeration, but it's a good chunk.
It was 20.
Well,
was 20 maybe?
Give me 2 free
comics. It was 30.
Yeah, it was good. It was 20 or 30, yeah.
Yeah, so that's that's a lot of comic books. I'll read every one. I'll say, I like the heck. I am liking freaking throw out there. Hey, here's a DC book with characters you've never heard of. Would you like to read it? And I'm thinking, yeah, I like those. So it's entirely possible. I would like these comic books very much. But, quite frankly, I have a lot of things to do in my day. I can't be chasing you down, comic book company. Don't be asking me to run after you to be the guy who says, "Oh, give me comic books because they're free." We just had a free comic book day. I've got a lot of free comic books I haven't read yet.
Thank you once again for joining us for Mansplaining Corner.
Okay, let's talk Marvel comic books.
Marvel?
Yay! I read one. What was your Marvel comic book this week, Lilith?
Ant-Man and the Wasp #1.
You didn't read X-Men Red?
I read that too. I read a bunch of stuff.
Read one. Oh wait, that was Charlie.
No, I said yeah.
No, I read
That's
one
my
comic book. I A lot of my time is taken up going to job interviews and applying for jobs. So yes, and
good. You can listen to those podcasts on the way now. Get off.
Yeah, listen to some Wade's World and some Quantum Zone, you fool.
I actually have been, so not those two, but I have
cheating on us.
caught up with a lot of podcasts.
I did listen. I must say, I did listen to a good one today. It was the current episode of Smodcast with Kevin Smith and Penn Jillette. It was a very good episode.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's good.
Since you don't like listening to us, Charlie, maybe you can listen to that.
I actually did listen to the last episode of Cape and Lunatics on the train recently. So,
you poor
soul. It was the super connectivity.
I was gonna say, Charlie's like, if I'm gonna listen to anything on here, it'll be me.
Yeah, because I like to hear my own thoughts. Especially, boy, this guy really knows what he's talking about. I like this guy.
We reviewed Deadpool #1, so if you want, you can scroll down.
Yes, we did 2 episodes.
This is a new Deadpool.
And we did the review. It was a couple weeks late of Domino #2. Charlie, Domino #3 comes out on Wednesday.
Okay, yeah, because I actually went to the comic book store, especially because I thought it came out like last Wednesday. So
yeah, no, just one.
That's why I actually got comic books instead of reading like other comic books that I could get via other means. Yes, because I like to buy the comic books. I like to buy comic books and put codes in for the community, as it were.
But what did you, Ant-Man and the Wasp? What did you think, Lilith?
I feel like this is a movie grab as well, too. Is it just me? Like, I feel like they're trying to capture that dynamic.
Kind of, sort of, because I mean, these two, I mean, in the comic book universe, really weren't like
exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a good thing. I mean, like I said, people liked it. Liked the movie a lot, and you know, I think it's gonna do really well. Ant-Man and Wasp movie. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it makes sense. Like the Deadpool thing, it makes sense.
This is Scott and Nadia, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So that I mean, I like the idea of that dynamic.
And they were basically using the quantum realm for like teleportation. So Charlie, like I sent you that panel, Charlie. I'm thinking, that's gonna be a movie tie-in too. Probably.
Oh, definitely.
Oh yeah. Well, clearly the quantum realm is useful for that, and you know, honestly, like I said, this is why I think Ant-Man and the Wasp will be the most important Marvel movie to watch before going into Avengers 4 Electric Galore, because I think there's going to be a reference to it because it'll be in the post-credits thing, or it'll be a late thing in it. It won't be like a driving force of it, but it's going to be this thing that where there's hints and clues dropped in, because they would have shot this whole movie and known what the next movie was going to be before they finished this movie, so they can do their little drop-ins and add-ins. So there's going to be a lot of Easter eggs to see.
But
and the Immortal Hulk #1 was pretty good.
Oh, you did read that?
Yeah,
I looked for that. I did not see that. Yes. Oh,
well, when in doubt, you can always go to Comixology or Marvel, whatever.
Yeah, well, you know, you go there, and I like to see what books are on the shelf. I like to see my paper books and go, hey, Miz, I like physical media.
Well, when my store doesn't have it, there's the alternative. Okay, I'm flexible.
Just like these go-go clubs, Lilith. He likes to go and see and touch. Come on.
No, you don't get to see or touch at the go-go clubs. That's actually
you close your eyes, you don't see?
No, I told you there's no nudity at go-go clubs.
It's like Amish porn. You get to see knees and shoulder.
If you're lucky.
Maybe some ankle. No, go-go boots are pretty high, though. So maybe not ankles.
Yeah. Well, you know.
State of New Jersey.
I mean,
you know, leave Jersey alone. Hopefully it's okay.
You know. That was actually one of my biggest complaints about the unexpected, the unexpected was they kind of like do a lot of Jersey references in it for some reason.
I like this because I feel like the conflict engine, that's her heart, that's me. Like it spoke to me on a very visceral level.
Yeah.
I got to start a fight every day. That's why my slogan is "Fight Me, Nerds."
Here's what I'm going to say about why I love this book. There is so much in it that makes you wonder, wait, is that like an established DC character, or is this a completely new character? Are these all completely new?
Completely new.
Oh my god! So Randy Macho Man Savage is not already an established character in the DC universe? He was awesome! The Bad Samaritan? How is that not already a DC character?
As far as I know, it's not. It might be some weird Wildstorm reference or some other stuff that I didn't read back in the day that got absorbed, but
Yeah. I thought
amazing.
it's all supposed to be like Batman metal stuff. It's like,
yeah.
Really, there's a cosmological universe continuity, and it's all centered around Batman.
Of course there is. Hello, it's DC.
Such a money grab.
Detective Comics.
What I loved about The Unexpected most about it is that you look at this, and my immediate thought is, oh, it's DC's The Defenders. The comic book Defenders, not the Netflix knockoffs. Because you got your like Hulk-looking guy, you got your Doctor Strangey fellow, you got your Valkyrie person here. You know, it's all there. And then basically, if you want some spoilers here, yeah, that doesn't last. But you get such a great thing here, and again, like for me, as not a active DC fan, I'm looking at stuff like the fact that there's this place called Thanagar, because I know Thanagar and I know Nith Metal, but that's like, oh, those are the bird people, like Bird Person from Rick and Morty, you know. And you know, mark my words, this guy Mandraker, whatever his name is he an already established DC character?
Actually, I think he might be, but
because he's the guy in Thanagar who's like eating all the souls. But I get the feeling that it's like, I'm eating the souls to save the souls. You know, it's one of those things like when the terror at the end of the Tick says, I'm not trying to take over the world, I'm trying to take it back. You know, that there's like some deeper story that's going on there, that the villains are the heroes and the heroes are the villains, or some nonsense. I don't know, but I was intrigued. I enjoyed this book very much.
It's not for you, Phil, but it was fun.
Hey, they snagged the Marvel fanboy. Hey.
Well, because it's like established deep in the roots of DC. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, exactly. It's like this is the kind of thing that DC needs. It's $2.99.
Storytelling
It is new characters, new interesting ideas. Just enough that I go, oh, I recognize that word. Oh, I know what that means. That makes me go, okay, I can feel like I'm comfortable in this world and I'm getting a brand new experience. You know, the problem with this, and with the also enjoyed, even though my comic book guy said he hated this book, I actually enjoyed it. You know, these are low-cost books and new structures, I'm going to say, because I don't know what the original Challenger structure is, but this structure is very interesting. The basic premise is they're like in a Schrodinger's cat situation, which is a very poor understanding of the Schrodinger's cat thought experiment. We're going to go with it anyway. But basically, they're both alive. All the people in the new Challengers are always both alive and dead. They can live. As long as they're within Challenger Mountain, they are alive because it's a place of quantum superposition. But when they go outside of the mountain, they start to die. And once they're quantumly set, I guess they have more time outside of the mountain. But if you go right outside of the mountain, right when you get there, you die immediately. And obviously, the longer you stay within the mountain, the longer you can stay outside. I'm guessing. I have no idea. It hasn't been established yet. But it's one of these books where it's like, oh, that's neat. I need more of an effort to let me know that this is a thing so that I can know to say, hey, I want to get the next new... The Terrifics, that was a little more in the DC universe. That's already up to 4. I was like, do I want to get the new Terrifics? I'm flipping through it. I'm thinking, and I'm like doing my very quick look at it and say, what is this going to jump out at me? Nothing in the new Terrifics jumped out at me.
Wait until August. Fantastic Four will be back.
Nah, well, hey, what do the Terrifics, this book and this book all have in common?
4.
Exactly.
The power of 4.
Power of 4 compels you. I mean, but this is what I'm saying. With any of these books, if you want to launch a new book, you need some kind of marketing for it. You need some kind of hook to get people into it, to have them say, I want more. And, I liked both of these books. I could see myself buying the next 2 books. And here's the thing about it. These books are all based on this weird Nith Metal Batman metal series that I had no interest in. And so there's a cosmological MacGuffin that I really don't care about and that has no ties to me, but somehow it's all very interesting to me. That intrigues me, and that makes me excited about it. I would like to buy more, especially at $2.99. They go up to $3.99. I don't know if I'm going to be there anymore. Because that's the thing. It's like you want to do this new thing outside of your universe. That's the thing. It's like Lockjaw, he shows up at $3.99, but I know who Lockjaw is. I'm not, this is Lockjaw and Demolition Duffy. This is a book written for me. Okay? And, I gotta say this. A lot of spoilers here, kid. Okay, really sad. I actually told them to put Lockjaw on my pull list this week. This is the last issue.
Sorry.
No, it's fair. It's my own bad. I missed the 3rd issue. I got caught up on it, and it's like they so solved the entire Lockjaw conundrum in this book. You know what? I'm not even going to spoil it for you. Although, hey, look who's here. Phil, look who came back.
Oh, is that Franklin and Val?
Frank and Val, yep. Hanging out in the place between worlds. And they go to the Ultimate Universe, and they go to Duck World, and then they go to a world that we cannot say what world they're at. And then they go to the prehistoric Earth where they meet the Ancient Avengers. Yay!
Wait, was that?
No,
was that a world with a Superman and Supergirl look like almost?
I think it was supposed to be a Woman of Wonders.
It's Earth 38.
I was gonna say Earthbenders.
Yeah. Oh, and dang Skippy! Best part about this book, they start listing all the world numbers that this guy has destroyed. On Earth 462, he did this, and on Earth 338, he did this. Also, I forgot that the new Teen Titans is that out already? Because that looked interesting. No, okay. I want to get that. That's the one with my ample American superhero blockbuster blue guy who's Roundhouse. That's his name. Roundhouse.
My favorite guy who I don't know who he is.
Roadhouse.
Patrick Swayze.
If only we were that lucky. Okay. So, but these are the books I've read, and I haven't even gotten to Hong Kong Phooey, #1 super guy.
Black Lightning, yeah.
But no,
we kind of rolled over it. Lilith, what did you
didn't like this book? Okay.
What did
okay.
You
okay. You talk about all your Marvel books, guys.
Okay, DC guy.
Yeah, I actually liked it. Like I said, I missed my old Hulk.
It had like that. It had like a horror vibe, and Banner's like at a convenience store. Hold up, he gets shot in the head along with a little girl and the person working at the store. But of course, the sun goes down. Guess who wakes up in the morgue and comes out?
Exactly. I don't know. Like it has everything that I like in a Hulk. That's all I can say about it. I enjoyed it.
And of course, I'm surprised. I guess Charlie, you're gonna get it, but I'm surprised you didn't read someone's copy, Charlie.
Yeah, well, I did not get the chance to yet. I mean, like I said, there's actually a lot of things that go on in my life the last couple days, and on the upside, I'm getting lots of calls about job interviews and going on a lot of job interviews. But it's like, There's only so much time I get in a day. I actually have a lot of time on my weekend, and this is like my weekend. Just because we're doing all the podcasts right now, so I'll actually get caught up on comic books probably this weekend. So that'll be lovely.
And new reporter Jackie McGee.
Oh, I missed Jackie McGee's new introduction. Well, I have to go out. No, I have to buy that book because I have to support the existence of a Jackie McGee.
$4.99, my friend.
Oh, Charlie, when you get some extra time or some extra money, you really need to hunt down the whole trade of Exit Stage Left Snagglepuss, because this is the last issue this week. Number 6 was so good. It wrapped it up. It was so bittersweet. He gets back into showbiz, making the cartoons that we come to know and love as the Hanna-Barbera, and he takes care of Huckleberry's son, and it's just really great.
Yeah. Okay, can I just make a real great point about this with this book?
Okay.
Well, yeah, okay, you're going to laugh. There's this fascinating things about the universes in which the Hanna-Barbera DC crossovers exist in. Because I don't think they all exist in the same universes because of one very simple thing that we see, just kind of a side note in this whole thing. When you go to Hong Kong Fui's dojo, where is it? Because we see right there, you see human animal characters in the Hong Kong Fui dojo. This is a universe in which it's not, essentially this isn't, and for what it's worth, this takes place in 1976. This is classic Black Lightning in the disco suit. Peak Hong Kong Fui, if you will. And it exists in this Elseworld that is really fascinating, because what's fascinating is not only that they do have this idea that cartoon animal people exist, but they are still rare and odd because... Okay, fine. You know what? It's a good book. I don't care, Phil. It's fine.
I'm setting the mood.
And this is actually one of the most interesting things. I'm surprised this is not way more controversial, which is the Funky Phantom backup feature. Basically, where these gun rights folks are like saying, "Hey, the Funky Phantom signed the Declaration of Independence. He was a founding father. He can tell us what the Second Amendment means." And he's like, "What is going on with you people?" And basically,
it would be more controversial if somebody actually besides you read it. Maybe, I don't know.
No, that may be, and that may be the case. And for what it's worth, that is always the case. These things only exist on publicity. This isn't Netflix. And you know the difference between Netflix and Hulu and all these and comic books? A show can exist on Netflix for years if Netflix produced it, or Hulu for years, and I'll never see it. And then one day I happen upon it due to the algorithm, as we learned from Kimmy Schmidt, the rhythm that Al Gore created when he invented the internet, that shows me this show, and I watch it and I fall in love with it. Because their model is about keeping me there, not necessarily making me watch that individual show at that individual time. So that I know that there's a show out there for me, I don't have to get to it right away. I should get to it right away. It's better for the actors if I get to it right away. But that I get to it eventually, it will be there for me. And that is the advantage of these digital models over the hard copy models. Which is, of course, what I'm sure Marvel hopes happens with their comic book platforms, but they have to... the problem is, when you talk about the DC making that unified platform of comic books and TV shows, is that I am not going to watch comic books on my TV. I'm not going to... I could watch TV shows on my computer, but why would I if I have a TV? And so I have to, split... I have to make a decision as to what device I'm using for what medium I want to
Well, for the people that it's aimed at, it's all on their phones and their tablets.
Well, I was going to say, it's probably going to be an app for, the tablets and phones, yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, when you're watching a actual cinematic production of a TV show, you want to see that on a wider screen.
Well, you could probably
you want at least your computer.
I'm thinking you could do both. You could watch the shows and stuff on your TV, and then if you want to read the comics, you can switch.
Well, yeah,
because I mean you could do that with Netflix and stuff.
Well, yes, but it's that choice. It's making that choice about now. Of course,
you're not the demo, Charlie. No offense, but like I see kids on the bus and the train all the time with their tablets and their phones watching TV.
I actually do that all the time. I read comic books on my phone,
and they don't complain about it. They're so happy that they don't have to be at home or in front of their laptop or their TV.
That's like the big selling point they have to do these days, where you can
multiple
you can digest the content, on multiple devices,
multiple screens. Yeah. That's what it's all about.
Okay, well, I guess for you young whippersnappers, that's a selling point. I see it's a bug, not a feature.
I don't know.
I watch TV on TV. I'm like the only person I know that does that. So I can't stand watching it on my laptop.
Display comes out of my wrist, then I go like this, and when I want to watch the big TV, I go boop, 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 and it goes big TV, like little TV. There we go. Perfect.
Welcome to the old fart club.
I want that.
I like watching stuff on TV.
Make that happen, you smart, nerdy people. Make it be a thing.
I mean, what's the point of having a 16-inch TV if you're not going to use it? Like, I don't get that.
Exactly. And you're going. And
I use mine all the time.
And you're ditching more digital and going physical copies.
Yeah, you have to, because they take stuff off like that now, especially with like the streaming wars is what I'm calling it, where everybody's just divvying it up and it's just nothing is up for grabs anymore. Everybody wants to isolate. Nope. I'm not paying $9.99 for 18 different services. I mean, I got rid of cable for a reason. Okay.
Exactly.
Cut the cord.
Exactly.
So
I'm a cord cutter too, Lilith. I'm like you hip young millennials. I've all my cords are cut. The only cord that I have is one that goes to the wall that gives electricity. Well, yeah, that's why I did it too. I did it because the companies with the cords didn't want me to use their service anymore. They wanted other things,
That's how it goes. Oh, and if you want to
pay those bills, they get really testy about this stuff. It's like, yeesh.
Oh, also, if you wanted to do a review, if you want to listen to a review of Man of Steel #2, which came out this week, scroll down on YouTube or in the podcast stream on whatever service you're using. Not going to judge.
That's right. Man of Steel 2 versus Man of Steel 2. John Byrne
versus Michael Bendis.
I was debating picking up Man of Steel 2. I didn't know you guys were doing all the issues.
Oh, yeah. All 6.
6 weeks of my friend.
6 weeks of Bendis. Phil's trying to kill me.
So next
next
week he meets Batman, right?
Well, that's what we were debating.
At least in the Byrne version.
We're just like, how far are these parallels gonna go? Because I see very superficial similarities. For Bendis right now, it's all about putting his, I was gonna say stink, but his mark on the Superman book. So
he wants to rub his Bendis all over it. Just say it, Lilith.
He really does.
He's rubbing his Bendis.
Oh, did you read Green Arrow this week, Phil?
Yes, I did. Yes. Did you like it?
It's losing its charm for me.
Well, I think this was a different writer and stuff.
It is.
I think isn't it just like a 2-issue arc or something?
Is it? Okay.
Basically, Parasite.
It's like at Superman's request. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I mean, it makes sense. They're transferring the Parasite, so you're going to send a powered hero? No, you send a guy with no powers to start a guy who can steal powers.
Just a poopy issue. I'm sorry.
All right. I mean, it's
but isn't the Parasite actually like kind of hyper strong just from being the Parasite? Doesn't he like have some internal powers already, or is it established that he like has no powers when he's not siphoning powers?
Well, unclear.
And I mean, he was pretty scrawny in the beginning of this, so they kind of had him pretty much drained.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know what that reminded me of? That reminded me of the Domino issue we just reviewed with Rhino, kind of, sort of.
Oh, yeah.
The cover.
Yeah. You mean the Deadpool issue with Rhino?
Yeah, the Deadpool.
Yeah.
Although it makes you wonder if he's using like if he's like the there's a character in Marvel called Everyman, and he used something called the Absorptican, which he can absorb powers from everybody. So he just starts draining everyone around him his strength, so that the parasite, even though he's not draining superpowers, is just draining regular strength from everyone around him and becomes more powerful.
Well, but didn't it just feel like super max light? I'm just like, okay, you gotta stop trying to be like the TV show. Like it just no, stop it. Like that's probably why I didn't like it. It didn't sit well with me because the whole prison riot thing. So I was just like,
Yeah. The only thing I really know about the parasite is that when Superman came to deal with him in the Superman animated series, he wanted a TV with cable. That was the deal he wanted.
That's all we all want.
Well, for what it's worth, he knew they weren't going to let him out. He wasn't going to get like time off for good behavior. He was, and not for nothing, he didn't want that because he knows that time off for good behavior means you go to the Suicide Squad. So he wanted to just make his life in prison better. And so that's all I really know about it. She's just some dude who
get a job and you pay for your cable depending on what federal institution you're in and what level it is. Just saying.
Well, he didn't want to work.
You don't want to be in one of those private prisons for profit. You want to go to a federal minimum security prison. That's all I'm saying. If you're going to do something, do some white collar stuff so you end up at Camp Cupcake. Not advocating crime, just be smart about it. Preferably don't get caught, but if you do.
See, Lilith, I only do legal
What?
I only do legal undesirable things. I have no interest in doing anything that like will get me put away in jail. That seems like the cost benefit doesn't seem that good.
Well, wasn't that like the big plot point of Office Space too, Lilith? I mean, we still have to do that. It's like they didn't want to go to federal pound me.
Yeah. I'm just saying, just negate the most negative consequences if at all possible. But anyway.
All right, watch me get Lilith all fired up. Lilith, did you read Batman 48?
No.
Countdown to the Wedding.
Who cares? No one cares.
How dare you?
I saw an ad. The Joker's coming. Ha ha ha.
Wow, he was in this issue. That's the whole joke. The Joker walks into a church and takes hostages.
Okay. Well, there's 3 of them, so.
What? Well, they still haven't paid off on that. They still haven't explained.
No, of course they will. Okay, Phil, this is the payoff. He's going to arrest the one Joker. And then he has to arrest the other Joker. The Joker's still out there. And then he realizes that the third Joker went along. Bum, bum.
The third Joker's really Catwoman. Joke's on him. Ha, ha, ha.
No. But there is something weird going on because, like in this, the whole thing with the Joker and then the wedding prelude books. Somebody's telling all Batman's villains he's getting married, and that's the weird thing. They said this in Nightwing vs. Hush this week. I guess this is so weird. Publicly, Bruce Wayne isn't getting married, but I guess Batman and Catwoman are getting married. They're like, oh, it's gonna, because people are gonna ask too many questions if Bruce Wayne, marries a felon, I guess, but it's like
DC logic, extra brain hurt, doesn't it?
So it's like the whole world's gonna know Batman and Catwoman are married, but they're not gonna know Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle are married. It's like, why don't you keep the whole thing?
But isn't Selena Kyle gonna be living at the Bat Mansion?
No, they're gonna be living in the penthouse.
Unless they just think he's hiring her for the night. I don't. It's DC. Why don't they just keep the whole thing secret then?
I don't know. Didn't Selena Kyle used to be rich at some point? Or no, she's a hooker now, right?
Yeah, she's rich. She's a mob boss. I mean, depending
on who's writing the book this week.
Yes.
Oh, hey, you know what I saw that got me kind of excited? Gail Simone is writing Plastic Man.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
So I'm actually a little excited about that. I think I'm going to go pick that book up when it comes out.
I like Plastic Man much better than Elongated Man. Just saying.
Man, Gail's really getting the work. She's writing Domino now. She's writing Plastic Man.
I think she's at the point in her career where she's just, she gets to do stuff that she really wants to do, and that's really exciting. Yeah.
Well, I mean, not for nothing, she's like the biggest female name in comics, and comics does have that they want to undo. And this is why people came to Ta-Nehisi Coates and said, "Hey, would you like to write a lot of books for us?" Because he was a very big name, and they said, "We will put this big name in," and they want to move these things out. And people would want Gail. And first off, Gail was a great writer. You can all agree that she does some good writing. She's no Bendis. I don't want to hate him. I actually liked a lot of Bendis's writing. And that's the thing is, I actually used to be this big defender of Bendis, but I don't know what has happened recently. I'm just like,
it's contagious.
I think we unlocked the code for the most part. It's like when he's writing like street level stuff, like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Miles Morales, he's okay. But once he starts getting up in that power set, like Avengers, X-Men, Superman, the
temptation to be a hack is just too great. It's just too great.
You know what? I have to say it all has to go back to Tony's dad for me. I think it was
petty. So petty.
No, it's just so bad. But but that's all it takes. It takes one Martha to ruin a film. No, I won't let it go. It takes one Martha to ruin a film. It takes one moment. Everything else in the film becomes untenable because you decided to do something that just didn't make sense with any story that anyone who had read this before is coming into, and that even within the context of the story doesn't make a lot of sense. No, I'm just saying. That's the thing. It's like, it's just this thing where you've separated it, and then he brought the guy back, and then he shot him. So, I mean, I think he's still only said like 4 words his entire run. It's a little weird. I gave him like a weird mustache thing. Like a twirling mustache for some reason. Yeah, exactly.
Cue that scenery, baby. Cue that scenery.
It just struck me as, and I think that's what really soured me on Bendis. I used to be very pro Bendis. I used to say, no, I like, when people would say, oh, Bendis said that Bucky killed Hitler and everyone knows the Human Torch and Toro killed Hitler. And I was the first guy to say like 6 different Hitlers in the Marvel Universe. He probably killed that Hitler in South America that the Fantastic Four fought. I'm just
leave him alone, Philip.
I know, but no, I mean, I think that's the whole thing. That's Bendis' whole career. People read a bunch of his stuff, they love it, and then there's always one thing. It's Tony Stark's dad, or it's bringing, the original X-Men to the present. It's something to do with the Avengers or Superman. It's something. You're loving Bendis' run. All of a sudden, you hit this speed bump and you go, wait, what? Or when he changes Moon Knight's personality. So instead of seeing, the original guys, Moon Knight sees Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Captain America in his head. Yeah, I'm still bitter about it.
That's okay. You don't gotta let it go.
I'm just telling you this.
I hold a grudge, Phil.
I mean,
I never really followed that, and that didn't really make a lot of sense to me either. But I never read it. I just assumed that was just
12 issues. It lasted 12 issues. Yeah, no one got it.
Only Bendis. Bendis had a dream, and they said.
Yeah, but that's the Bendis formula. It's always something different, but eventually everyone hits that speed bump, and they're like, wait, why are you doing this, Bendis?
You know what is the weirdest thing with me and Bendis right now is that he made Jessica Jones the mom of the Avengers, and now she's the Netflix drunk Jessica Jones again. And I don't follow it's like there was no midpoint in there. Because it's like she fell off the wagon hard, and we never really got.
I think that's all because he was writing Avengers. He wanted to write Jessica Jones. I don't know if maybe he couldn't get her a solo series at that point, so he needed to write her. He did whatever he had to do to get to write her, even if he had to make her the mom of the Avengers.
Yeah,
I liked her as the mom of the Avengers. She was cool as the mom of the Avengers.
Well, but then the Netflix, Jessica Jones season 2 comes out, so they kind of have to.
It's not like other moms.
They have to kind of revert her, and who knows what's going to happen now?
Yeah, but she was like.
Well, maybe we'll get some character growth now that he's gone. Maybe because when did they say she's getting a new series eventually with a female writer, I believe.
Oh.
Okay, well, let's hope that something good can be made of it. Although, I don't know, every time they reinvent Harley Quinn, people get even more mad.
Do you guys read anything that isn't Marvel or DC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been reading, Phil? Just I just gotta keep it.
Oh, keep it balanced. Keep it fair and balanced. Fox News. Walking Dead and Spawn. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. I mean, Walking Dead, yay. Spawn, not so much.
I really liked Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's comic book about Mycroft Jones. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I getting a little too deep for you there? Well, actually, it's written a novel about Mycroft Jones, which is not Mycroft Holmes. Mycroft Holmes, not Jones. Okay. Mycroft Holmes. That's why. Don't mind my. I'm stuck in the 70s from that Hong Kong book. Yeah. No, he wrote a neat book about Mycroft Holmes, although I only got to read the first issue because, again, heavy paper. And it's like that heavy paper just kills you because you're charging so much for it. It was really good. It was really well written. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a very good writer, apparently. But, yeah, I mean, and aside from that, I've read a couple Archies here and there. And then, of course, I read Bongo comics. I read Futurama when it comes out.
Okay. Well,
I love Futurama.
If anybody hates Mondays and loves lasagna, aka and loves Garfield, Boom Studios just put out Garfield Homecoming #1. Garfield gets tired of John's mess, whatever that is, loving him too much, I guess. I don't know, and goes off to join a circus. And it's adorable, actually. I really love the art.
Is it good? Is it a good Garfield? Because I mean, I worry with Garfield, people are going to go a little too dark and gritty.
It's not dark and gritty at all. It's actually pretty funny. The artwork is really expressive, and I feel like it's almost it could have been an episode of the Garfield show from like the late 80s.
Oh, okay, that was a good show. I mean, I enjoy Garfield. I mean, the guy who actually created Garfield goes back and forth on whether or not he actually is sincere about it or if it's all.
I know that's the whole mess.
People who read it,
but it's not him.
Well,
who wrote this? Scott Nichols is writing the story. He also did 9 Lives, which is why I picked it up. And then the artwork was by Sarah Talmadge, who does stuff for Steven Universe comic book over at Boom Studios. So, I
Steven Universe.
Yeah.
Am I the only one here who watches Steven Universe?
Yeah.
I've seen a couple minutes.
Yeah,
of
I've seen the memes.
I haven't really sat down.
Okay, there was a mind-blowing thing recently. I say it can't be canon because we've already have other previously established canon to contradict the statements that have been made. But who knows? They just may be retconning it.
Is that the one with the gemstone people? Pearl and Ruby.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, you mentioned. I thought you actually knew them. So the premise of Steven Universe is that basically there's this world of sentient gemstones that are basically they're gems that manipulate light in order to create sort of solid light forms of various types, and they are all very structured as gems must be. And your structure dictates your purpose and all this kind of thing. And then on Earth, rose quartz led a rebellion of other gems against the Diamond Authority. The Diamond Authority rebelled, killed all the other rebels except for rose quartz and a few of the others, but then left the world alone. And rose quartz, over thousands of years, lived a life, had adventures, and then falls in love with, a guy with a guitar, as
you do,
as chicks do, as you do, and decides that after all of these adventures, she will be with this man fully with her heart, and that means reproducing with him. But because she's a gem, in order for her child to have her gem qualities, she has to give her gem to him. And
that's what he said. Hey-o.
Yeah. And that is Steven Universe. And then the story is Steven sort of dealing with the fact that he is both human and gem, coming through this whole thing.
Let's just be honest. You like him because he's an ample American.
He is an ample American, and so is his Mr. Universe's dad. But no, but there's like a canonical thing where Peridot sees Steven and says, "Oh, you're clearly a quartz," which makes this latest reveal completely impossible. How could a Peridot think Steven is a quartz if what we've just seen is the case? Doesn't make sense. I'm waiting for future episodes to get the next knowledge of it, but it's like, come on, Rebecca Sugar, don't be Bendising it. That's all I'm saying. I'm really afraid Rebecca Sugar is going to pull a Bendis.
I love how Bendis is a verb, like buck. I just love it.
Oh, you know, Bendis is the verb that Buck wishes he was.
At least Bendis had some good stuff.
Exactly. It's like, you know.
And Bendis, if you want this to stop, get on here and talk to us.
Yeah, please, Bendis, come and face your critics, and we will be very respectful the whole time. And we're going to ask you why you did that.
Yes.
I've said every week when we review Man of Steel, I say, you know what? I won't badmouth it. I'll say, Mr. Bendis, come on here and explain the choices you make.
Yeah, you know what? And I'll give you that. Probably a lot of the choices are, man, there's suits. There's suits at Disney. There's suits at DC. They say I have to do this. I can't do this other thing that I want to do. Like you were saying, he wants Jessica Jones in the Avengers. They say, you can't have drunken, crazy Jessica Jones in the Avengers. This is the Avengers. Children will read this book, Mr. Bendis. So say, okay, well, you know what? She's married to Luke Cage. Now they have a kid. And now she's like kind of cool. And it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, well, we'll allow it, says Marvel.
Maybe it's just.
And so Bendis can say this, but then he's like, Bendis, but you gotta rebel, man. You gotta fight the power. Don't just say I was only following orders, Bendis. Don't just say that.
Don't be a Nazi, Bendis. But no, I mean,
that.
Maybe it's just the public perception, but I mean, it just on the DC side, it just seemed like they were like, "Oh, come in, Brian. Oh, what would you like to do? Oh, you would like everything Superman? Okay, we'll cancel books and we'll give you everything Superman."
I know, it's super weird. Like I've never seen this ushering in.
Super.
Not
weird.
For nothing, DC is a little desperate because
they're putting out on the first date.
Well, no, I mean, not for nothing. DC,
they're 40 and nobody's marrying them.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's just rude. You know, no, what it is DC does not have that Sweetest Plum t-shirt sales driven by movies.
Well, they actually do. Like, they do.
I haven't seen one t-shirt that says, "Why did you say that name?"
Well, we don't need that meme, but they do sell. I mean, honestly, if you go to Walmart, even with Marvel as big as it is, I still see more DC shirts. I'm just saying.
No, actually, I'll say that DC actually has the t-shirt sales. I think,
and the comic book sales. Just to be honest, they do.
Honestly, DC has everything but the movies. So maybe the movies actually mean a lot more. Well, you know what it is that the movies cost more to make.
Exactly.
So when the movies, basically, maybe DC should just stop making movies.
That's my plan.
And just stick to TV. But you know what?
I think they need to shut down all the DC, shut down whatever movies they have in production, take a break, at least a year or two, retool.
10 years.
And come back. And come back. Don't try to jump the gun with team movies and
I say everything is its own little universe and nothing has to connect unless they want it to.
Yeah. Build your Superman universe, build your Batman universe, build your Wonder Woman universe, and Flash, whoever else. And then once all those, are firmly built, people are enjoying them, that's when you throw everything into Justice League.
No Justice.
No Justice.
Well, yeah, whatever they're gonna do, they have to do something. The problem with DC, I think, is that they
admit defeat.
Well, no, well, actually, that's exactly it. But it's not that they don't want to admit defeat. It's that there's a lot of individuals who've signed their names to pieces of paper that said this is a good idea, and all those people still have jobs, and they are in this spot where it's like, well, and here's the thing, you can chop off that head that signed the first piece of paper. But the two guys underneath him, or the two girls underneath him, or two people underneath him who are coming up, they signed similar pieces of paper too. It's like there is a rot in the structure that says we don't know what to do. And they're hoping that a Bendis will fix it.
I think you've made the point before, Charlie. I've heard other people make the points before. They need a Kevin Feige over there. They need someone steering the ship.
Didn't they just get one?
For the movie stuff? I don't think there's one brain.
I thought there was a guy. Didn't they? There was some comic book guy. They said, you're in charge of stuff now.
You're not talking about Jeff Johns, are you?
Yeah, Jeff Johns. That was the guy.
He does the comic book stuff, and he also touches on the TV stuff, but he doesn't really do much for the movies.
He's not like steering that movie ship. They really don't have anybody steering that movie ship. Give the whole thing to Patty Jenkins.
No.
Well,
I mean, say that out loud. I'm sorry.
Honestly, I think they. I mean, Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman was good. I really liked it.
It was okay. It was not breathtaking. It was not game changing.
I mean, I know it's a low bar, but I know
it's
a low
bar that we need to set.
I was gonna say it's a low bar, but I mean, she's done better. Her movie did better than the rest of them.
Yeah, I mean,
like I said, you did an okay movie. That is not the benchmark. I want something more than okay. That's all that I'm saying.
But unfortunately, they don't have a Russo brothers yet.
No, you know who's going to run? You know who's going to run the whole movie thing? Bendis, and everyone's going to stand around and talk for 3/4 of the movie. And
you shut your mouth, Philip. You shut it good.
I like talking movies.
I will come back to Pittsburgh, Philip, if it happens.
Yeah, but Charlie, superhero movies, you expect people are going to enjoy a superhero movie where people talk 75, 80% of the time, and then the other half is going to be like Tony Stark's dad.
No,
okay, you know what?
You can talk 75% of the time and then have 25% explosions. In fact, I'd wager there's probably only 25% explosions in most Marvel films.
Yeah. I know who we get. We get J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, sure, why not?
He screwed up Star Wars and Star Trek. Why not? I love the light player.
But maybe if he screws it up, it'll screw it right back in.
I mean, some people like, his Star Trek stuff, whatever. That Khan thing just pissed me off, and I'm not a fan of JJ anymore ever since that whole Khan debacle. So
hold on, she's on the warpath.
Hey, I can contain myself. I know D's from C's.
I just don't know why they couldn't have gotten a Hispanic actor for that. Not that Khan is Hispanic, but at least we know him as Hispanic. It's like
not a pasty cucumber from England.
Wait, for what character?
He makes a good Doctor Strange, though.
Oh, Cumberbatch. Oh, he saved some guy. Did you hear that? Did you hear that story? Benedict Cumberbatch saved the guy.
Okay, well, good for him.
He was in England. He's riding in an Uber, whatever they have over there. He saw some delivery guy getting beat on by like 2 or 3 guys. He jumped out of the car and helped the guy.
I'm sure.
Well, I'd like to think.
I'd like to think.
That smacks of PR because nobody does nothing in London. They say something, unless it's luggage sitting on the curb. Nobody says nothing. No, if they see something. As a person who's lived over there, I'm just saying.
Okay, I don't know. I'd like to think that, and here's what I'll say: I'd like to think that if I saw someone in distress, I would do something. I don't know if I would throw punches, but I would definitely say, "Hey, stop throwing punches, you people."
You guys, stop!
You do what the police over there do. You blow your little whistle.
Yeah, well, I would do that because not for nothing, you don't want to get into a situation where someone's going to obviously. But, at the same time, every person, when they see something bad going down, you should interact in some way. You shouldn't just walk away.
Yes.
Okay, well, maybe that's me. I'm a big
bad Samaritan if you want to.
I agree with you. But
I mean, I've broken up a bar fight or two. I've stopped somebody from having their purse snatched. But
you've started a bar fight. You've broken up bar fights.
No, I once, I interacted with a guy who was clearly having a abusive argument with his girlfriend.
And then she starts beating
steroid freak. Yeah. No, well, he was.
Like the police said, don't domestic.
No, well, you know what? I was drunk at the time, but I was like,
"Yes, you do.
Sir, you must not be such ungentlemanly." And but I think I diffused it to a grand extent. I think for what it's worth, I think I patted his ego enough by having him go, "Ooh, I'm a big guy." I'm like, don't be a jerk, dude. And then they walked away, and it didn't seem like they were having as much domestic strife after that. So maybe that worked out for the best. But, I think that as a human being, you actually have an obligation to other human beings to stick your nose in stuff.
See, that's where I draw the line. When I'm a good Samaritan, is like if there's a dog that's run over in the middle of the street, I will take it to the vet. Like, that's who I am. That's the person I am. I've done it on more than one occasion.
I'm not touching some stray dog. Who knows what that disease that dog has? When there's blood, rational, Lilith, you don't touch blood.
You get a blanket and you wrap them up.
Who knows what people fighting in a bar have?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, but if they're not actively bleeding, there's no exchange of fluids.
There's spit. Oh, in a bar fight, there is spit. Let me tell you.
Hey, bloody nose. You never know.
Anyway, are we done here, Philip? Jeez.
I don't know. We spent a lot of time in strip clubs and bars this episode.
I mean, that's my life. So,
Now I know what you're doing on the
Not
road.
Living the dream, Lilith. Living the dream.
I ain't no fun since I quit drinking, apparently, but.
See, I ain't no fun since I started.
All right, so yeah, let's get out of here. But for those of you listening on or watching on YouTube, stay tuned in a few minutes for Super Connectivity. Charlie and I are going to review Cloak and Dagger.
Ooh.
Episode premiere last night. And on the podcast, you have to wait like 2 days. So
Spoiler. Bad.
Spoiler.
It wasn't bad.
And if you're listening on the podcast, you can't see Charlie's thumb, so you have to listen to Super Connectivity. All right. So send us your thoughts on comics, TV, movies, DC's digital platforms, strip clubs, breaking up fights in bars, capes and lunatics at gmail.com, facebook.com/capes and lunatics, at capes lunatics on Twitter, and the voicemail. For you illiterate types, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. Charlie Esser, people need someone to break up a fight. Where can they find you?
You may not know this, Philip, but I was crushing your head that whole time. For those who watched on the video, I like to give them this stuff. You can always write to me in an old-fashioned email with Maz and Paz instead at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. And of course, follow me on the Twitter as I live tweet Cloak and Dagger.
And someone to remind you.
No, you do not need to remind me. I just got pulled
late,
away by
Life.
drunken go-go dancers.
Blah, blah, blah.
At Charlie Esta, that's CHARLIE. ESLCR. Look for the 2 E's in the middle for quality.
And World Traveler Lilith Hellfire. If dying dogs need your aid, where can they find you?
If you nerds want to fight me on Twitter at Lil Hellfire. If you're looking for Smallville, Superman, and swearing, follow at Save Me Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. And coming soon, Pinstagram.
Unless she gets sued.
Yeah, exactly.
Help! And anyway, if you would like to get a hold of me, you can always email me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com. And on Twitter, I am at nightwingpdp. You know who I'm thinking we may be able to get an interview with? Did you see Todd Stashwick is going to be co-writing Suicide Squad 2?
Shut the front door. Good for him.
And we interviewed him for Before the Bat, and he's also friends with Rob Southgate, so maybe we can get a...
Teen Wolf, Malia's dad.
He was on Gotham too, yeah. He was Black Mask.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go, Rob Southgate, Gotham. All right.
Get it while it lasts.
That's right. It's not going to be there much longer. Anyway.
Got to go out on top, man. Got to go out on top.
That's what she said. Anyway.
If you're lucky.
That has been another week of the Capes.
And
the Lunatics.
Woo! Yeah, baby.
I like that I get to say something different every week.
Why, Lilith? Why is your nose so itchy?
I'm sick.
Juicing. She's juicing.
It's water, actually.
Oh.
Citric acid irritates the vocal cords.
So healthy.
But relaxes the muscles.
That's what chicken noodle soup is for.
Yeah, it just has full causes.
Got that lysine buildup in your muscles. You need that.
See, I told you.
In the Krebs cycle to release it, man. Every good bodybuilder knows that, man.
You will pump. You